go, planty peeps. My name is Lily and welcome to Peace Lily Plants. Today I want to talk about my 6 most expensive plants I own, the ones that I got a little chipped on or just had to pay a lot for because they're worth a lot, and talk about, do I think that those purchases were worth it or not worth it, and am I glad that I bought the plant? Am I regretting that I bought the plant? We'll get into it here in a moment, but before we do, please go ahead and like this video. You haven't watched it, but you're probably gonna like it, looking at some cool stuff, and subscribe to my channel for more planty content. The most expensive plant I own is right here behind me. It is my white princess philodendron. When I looked back at how much I paid for everything, I noticed that although I've been telling people all this time, oh, I paid about $225 for this plant, when I looked at the receipt, it was actually $265. So $265 for this. Bought it in November of 21. It is getting pretty sprawly. I really need to get it on a moss pole. That's going to be a theme throughout this video. I need to get basically all of these on moss poles. And it's given me, let's see if I can hold it back here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's given me 5 leaves, and it's got a 6th one on the way up here. So was this plant worth it? As far as, well, let me just back up and start that sentence differently. When a plant is $265, it's like, could you ever really say it was worth it? That is just too much money to That is just too much money to pay for a plant, to be honest. But, you know, it's par for the course for these super rare plants. And I would honestly say, in the grand scheme of things, that it was worth it. Because it's grown. Okay, let's see. I got it in November 2021. It's currently May 2022. That's about 6 months. It is grown about twice as large as it was, which is not so bad for half a year. And the variegation has been pretty solid. The first leaf that I am holding up to the camera here, that is the first one it put off, and that kind of worried me because it doesn't have a lot of variegation, but all the leaves after that have been better. And so the variegation has been stable, it's grown a lot, it's been fairly easy, hasn't really given me any trouble yet, knock on wood. So yes, this was worth it, and it is a beautiful plant at the end of the day. It could be worth it monetarily if I were to propagate, because I see quite a few nodes that could be, you know, propagated from. I'm too nervous to cut it, so I need to maybe try the air layering thing. My second most expensive plant that I have is my Philodendron squamiferum. And I don't remember if I said this. I got the white princess from Dade Plant Company on Instagram. And I got this plant from the Gazebo at New Garden in real life. It's in Greensboro, North Carolina. This plant has lost 1 leaf and only given me 1. This funky, misshapen little guy up here. It would probably grow faster and grow bigger, normal shaped leaves if it were on a pole. So gotta get it on a pole. It wasn't worth it. Well, it's only giving me 1 leaf, and you can get this plant a lot cheaper than what I bought it for. You know, in a way, the money that you spent on a plant that you bought in the past, it's water under the bridge. So, I'm like, you know, should I lament the fact that I paid too much for this plant? I don't know. I wouldn't do it again, that's for sure. I would buy a cheaper one, and you could probably get one about this size for honestly half the price of what I paid. This was a little bit too expensive for what it was, but it is a very cool, pretty plant, and of course, gotta love the fuzzy petioles. My third most expensive plant that I own is my variegated heartleaf philodendron. I bought this as a plug from Gulley greenhouse. When did I buy this? I bought this in, I don't know when I bought this. I think August. So I've had it for 8 or 9 months. It's given me, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's given me 5 leaves. These 2 are the only ones that have really been heart-shaped. The newest one, it went back to not being heart-shaped, so not so good. Need to get this on a pole too. Like I said, I need to get basically all of these on poles. I would say it was worth it as far as it's a beautiful plant. It's grown a lot. I'm happy with the outcome of it all at this point. But as with the squamiferum, you could definitely get this one for cheaper than what I paid. I paid $140, and I think you could probably get something that is not too far off from this for half that price. So thus far, my 3 most expensive plants, White Princess, Squamiferum, and Variegated Heartleaf, have all been philodendrons. They've all been pretty easy. They've all been pretty rewarding, except for the squamiferum only giving me 1 leaf. But so far, so good, I guess. And we're gonna keep going on the philodendron train here. This was my 4th most expensive plant purchase. It is my Pink Princess philodendron. It has given me 1, 2, 3, 4 leaves, and working on a 5th. Well, actually, it's not just working on it. It is already detached from the main vine and is trying to unfurl. The variegation has not been terrible. It hasn't like gone away, reverted, but it isn't spectacular either. It's just pretty good. So I mean, I guess it could be worse. It would definitely be worse if it reverted. But anyway, I think this is a beautiful plant. I really love the shade of pink of a Pink Princess, and especially this one. That dark Barbie pink-esque coloring, I can't get enough of it. So honestly, I would say this is worth it. I mean, as with the last few, you could probably get it cheaper. I'm looking at my computer over here. Let's see, I paid $130. I feel like I'm being really inconsistent with saying the price and where I bought it and when I bought it, but I will put a little list in the video description if you really want to know. I'm happy with this guy. Need to get him on a pole. As with the other philodendrons, it's been easy and rewarding as with most of the other philodendrons, and it has given me several leaves. So that's what's up. And also, I will say that the seller, which is Little Prince Plants on Etsy, they threw in the package a free Hoya fasciata, I believe it's called, and that thing has been growing and looking awesome. So even though I paid $140, I got a free plant with it, so that's pretty cool. The Hindu rope that you see back there that we call affectionately Cousin It, that was $119. I bought it at where did I buy it? The big greenhouse in Greensboro. So it's the only other one besides the squamiferum on today's list that I actually bought in person. And this is the one out of all of them that I would say ranks number 1 as far as it was worth it. Because look at how big and glorious that thing is. And so often I will go in the store, I'll see that pieces of it that are this long will be $10 or $20, and if you were to chop up that plant into however many times you could make a plant this big, it is just so infinitely worth it what I paid for that. Because I would think that you could get at least 25 pieces that are that long, and yet it was only $119. So totally worth it. Would totally buy it again at the same price, or honestly, even if it was a little more expensive, I would still say it was worth it. I really cannot say enough good things about that plant. I love it so much. It is such a statement piece. People are just attracted to it. When they walk in, it looks so good being in the back of my videos, just being over there up on that stand like that. It is just awesome. So the Hindu root was my 5th most expensive plant that I own, and my 6th is right here. It's my Philodendron Mamiya. Let's see, I paid $98 for that, and I bought it from We Love Plants LLC. Was this worth it? I would say that it was worth the money, because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's got 7 leaves and several on the way, and so for the price, I think that is pretty worth it. I don't think you're gonna find a much better deal than that. So, as with the Hindu rope, I would say this is one of the better financial deals of today's list. But was it worth it as far as being easy, rewarding, etc.? Yes and no. It's a little complicated. Ever since I moved it into this self-watering pot so that it could crawl more easily, it is doing this thing that is a little concerning to me. It's got like 3 leaves that are on the way, but they've been like that for a month or 2. And maybe I need to spray them with water, maybe that would help them unfurl. I don't know what's happening. It's like it's growing, but it's not, because it is acting like it's putting off new leaves, but then it never follows through with putting off the new leaves. Not sure what the issue is on that. I gotta try to figure that out. But if that weren't happening, I would say it was totally worth it. And it is still a beautiful plant. It has grown a new leaf and has 3 new ones on the way. So it has grown pretty well. Not quite as prolifically as my 2 princess plants and my variegated heartleaf, but it has grown. Thank you so much for watching to the end of today's video. Let me know of all of these plants, which one would you have bought, or which one do you want, or which one was your favorite, or you know, whatever you feel like saying. Hope you're having a good day. And one more thing before you go, always remember, wherever you are, whatever your circumstances, bloom where you were planted, honey. See you in the next one. Bye.